Juice heads, what the hell is up, guys? It's been so long since I've kicked it to you, old school, what's trending. This is episode 37, and quite frankly, we should be on episode like 60 by now, but I've been caught up, living life, things with work, things with, we'll say, certain bitches, and we'll leave it at that, but nothing too serious. And hey, we're back. It's fucking, there's always going to be things trending. There's always got to be someone to deliver what's trending to you. So the opinion show, where we try to keep it fun, we try to keep it lighthearted, not take ourselves too serious, like on Uncommon Sense, my show with my partner, the Fat Jew and Angry Steve, who have been awesome in being broadcast partners, but there's nothing like doing your own fun solo show. And we got some good topics today, and we're going to try to bring back the What's Trending happy hour. We'll get into why some of that stuff ended, because we were going strong and we were getting some decent views and making some headway with that shit. And nothing like a fresh black tea when you're... Actually, I think it's gray tea, but it's not the... I ordered the wrong fucking one, and of course I got like 8 dozen fucking boxes of it, or a gross of it, whatever the fuck the numbering is. So now I gotta drink it, even though it's like, what is it, like $1.99 a box of it? I could just buy the kind I want, but I'm a man of principle, you know? So, what's going on, Juice Heads? Glad to be back. And we'll at least try to roll out a few of these shows a week. And, you know, for a while I changed the format of the show from What's Trending, which I legitimately took from Twitter, and this is all pre-election stuff, right? And back then I believed what was trending was rigged, but nowhere near as rigged as it was post-election. So I sort of changed it to what's kind of trending up here, and it worked, and I did some single topic shows. But I think the way to do this, just go old school. If it lasts 10 minutes, it lasts 10 minutes. If it lasts 45 minutes, it lasts 45 minutes. If people want to drop off at 5 minutes, they drop off whenever they want. But I'm going to keep putting out the fucking content, and I hope you guys don't drop off till it's over, which, I mean, dude, even I drop off from my favorite YouTubers and podcasters at a certain point, and maybe I pick it back up and maybe I don't. So I think for a little while there, I was also looking too hard into the analytics, and I think that could also be a trap. There's a lot to be learned from the data, but anyway, that's not what's fucking trending right now. Let's get into what's trending here, because it's really fucking taking my balls and turn it into guacamole, you know what I mean? Because right now it's like we live in a hybrid world of 1984 and idiocracy. So what do those two things have in common? Really just the dumbing down of society in general. 1984, right? It becomes the vocabulary police, or it is the vocabulary police. You can't say certain words. Then it becomes the fucking, it essentially becomes the thought police. Because when you control people's fucking language, you start controlling their thoughts. And then you get dumbed down to idiocracy, where there's not even engineers, right? I mean, I think now they're trying to say math is racist. Well, good luck building cities and infrastructure without math, right? Because the left is so concerned about infrastructure. Now, that was a single topic show worth doing, because that took like a half hour just to get through that fucking sham of a bill. It's always convenient how they give these bills such cute fucking names, you know? It's just... It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, they call that dog that bites everybody, what's his name? Fucking Soldier, or fucking Colonel, or something, or whatever. And I guess that name actually kind of makes sense, right? Because he wants to fucking kill people. And Major, yeah. Well, I guess that kind of contradicts what I was just talking about, because yeah, he's a major, all right. But anywho, it's pretty dangerous. And one of the reasons why I've been a little dormant on doing my favorite show, my flagship show of the network, which used to be Rubbing the Rhubarb, but of course, because we live in 1984, I think that show is done. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but it's May. We've done 2 shows since a couple weeks before Christmas. So that's usually not a good sign that the show's going to continue. And we'll get more into that later as we progress here. But I mean, this is getting scary. I mean, You can't even say the phrase illegal immigrant anymore, and even on YouTube, and we'll get into this too as we keep going, and I'll explain as the show takes its course. There's things I can't even fucking say anymore. So, R.I.P. to the First Amendment, and eventually they're coming after our whole Bill of Rights. So, the First Amendment definitely is done as far as I'm concerned, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's what our country was founded on. One of the great things, and it's one of the things that used to separate us from those third world shitholes and those banana republics. But hey, we can't even run an election now. So, state, local, or fucking federal, I don't think we can run an election right now. Anywho, let's get to someone who I used to like a lot, Howard Stern. I actually, I wanted to post an older graphic of his from, I believe this is from '93. He did a little special called Butt Bongo. If you look hard, you could probably find it. It's tremendous. When it was on TV, I was probably all of 9 years old, so I kind of think this was a pay-per-view, and I don't even think I was allowed in the same room as the TV that this show was on. But you gotta love fucking old school Howard Stern. And he actually did something today for the first time in about a decade and a half. He said something that makes sense that I agree with. He basically said something to the effect of all these celebrities putting their political views out there, and they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is if they want to run for office. And I've talked about this a lot with The Rock, and I believe he used The Rock as an example. And yeah, and he was using an example, hey, Rock, everybody loves you, but if you run, you got to take a stance on abortion and on this issue and on that issue. And then I think he brought up Matthew McConaughey as another example. And he was like, hey, Matthew McConaughey, you're going to have to talk about gay marriage and stuff like that. Even though I would bet you, even though Matthew McConaughey seems like more of a conservative Texas guy, I would bet you he could care less about gay marriage. He probably would want the government to stay out of it, which is, in my opinion, the correct stance. Let them do whatever they want to do. If they want to elope and whatever, it's none of my business. The government shouldn't be in your bedroom. And then when it comes to getting married, I know that's tough with like a church to decide that, but a lot of these churches now are so progressive. I don't see churches really, for the most part, having a problem with it. I mean, fucking, you drive around here, and there's more churches that have rainbow flags outside of them that don't, believe it or not, and I guess I'm not so hard to find, speaking of big tech and all that stuff. So good for Stern for actually saying something that is accurate, and I hope whoever he was addressing was listening, because yeah, your opinions are great and all, but then you talk about, oh, you're going to run for office and you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Well, you are essentially going to alienate half your fans, and I've beaten that to death on this show, because that's one thing that really sort of grinds my gears, if anything does. Now, back to big tech and the fascism, right? Why am I talking about Facebook in particular today? Well, they upheld former President Donald Trump's suspension on the Facebook, and I really don't give a shit about Facebook. I really haven't. I always thought they were a shittier version of MySpace. If you ask me, I'm a MySpace guy. I think Tom from MySpace is a way better human being than Mark Zuckerberg. He took his $580 million or whatever it was and just is living his life. He didn't want to be this huge fucking Bill Gates like billionaire with all your data. I don't even think Tom, to my knowledge, I don't even think Tom harvested your data. And one of the founding principles of MySpace was that they didn't want people using their real names on it. And again, you could put as much data about yourself as you wanted, but I don't think it was nearly the same extent as the way they were tracking you on Facebook and stuff. Now, were there advertisements on MySpace? Sure, they had to make money somehow. It was worth $580 million somehow, not by accident, but you were just so much more, by you I mean the Facebook member, you were just so much more blatantly the product on Facebook than anything. And as far as I'm concerned, fuck Facebook, fuck Twitter, fuck Instagram. TikTok is fun. I like TikTok, but it's all nonsense. And and YouTube's great. They don't give me strikes for no reason or anything, right? So we'll get into certain things that I tread lightly on certain topics, but there's gonna be things I can and can't say moving forward if I ever want to keep this channel, because I'm gonna keep doing my shows, and if I get 3 strikes, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think my best bet is to hedge my bet and give every show a different channel. And, and I'm sure my whopping 54 followers will come with me, right? Who's coming with me? It's, yeah. And, speaking of the lack of a First Amendment, the fact that you could talk all you want about the 2016 election, all this alleged Russian interference, which, as far as I'm concerned, was pretty much all proven to be a hoax. You could talk about that all you want and how Trump was not a legitimate president, but you better shush the fuck up about the 2020 election, or you're done, or you're just done. They'll shadow. I mean, I'm already shadow banned on YouTube as it is, and I have as one of my broadcast partners the Fat Jew, who's like a TikTok celebrity, and I'm still fucking shadow banned. That's good tea. But that just goes to show you, man. And speaking about that, and kind of why I've been laying low on this show for a little while, the past month or so, and I did take a nice Tampa trip, a little bit of a life-changing trip, and I was going through some shit with my job, and, and I was a little distracted by someone who I should not have let distract me, and I'll just leave it at that. But all we're talking about in this country the last month or so, and it's finally been dying down, and I know it's dying down because I found other shit to talk about, but I'm just so tired about this fucking race conversation. I've never treated anybody different because of the color of their fucking skin. I went to school in Newark, of all places, Newark, New Jersey, which is probably one of the roughest, worst cities in the country in terms of crime and probably black-on-black violence. It's got to be up there with Camden, also in this state. And I'm not sure if it touches anywhere near Chicago, but it can't be terribly far from it. So I'm just so tired of hearing about race and all these people that are anti-black and anti-Hispanic and Samoan and whatever. And if you're white, you're the devil. I'm not anti-fucking anything. And by the way, Mexican's not a race. It's of Latino or Latina descent, whatever, or Latinx. You know what's so funny? I think Latinos, for the most part, are pretty Christian/Catholic conservative. And they don't even want to be referred to as Latinx. That's just more of this fucking leftist horse shit. What the fuck is Latinx? So you're trying to say that if you're Latino, that you don't have a gender? Is that what that means? Because you can't be Latino or Latina? Because I was taught that the A is feminine and the O is masculine, and I think the same goes for my heritage, my native heritage of Italian. But I'm just an American. I'm a real American, and I fight for the rights of every man on this goddamn motherfucking show. But I am just so tired about it. I'm not even going to talk about the case. I'm not going to name the names. I'm not going to talk about the police. The police is such a thankless job. And who the fuck, with all this tension going on, who the fuck is ever going to want to be a cop anymore? I wouldn't want to be. And all that's going to come out of this is that nobody's going to want to be a cop. And then they're going to start lowering the bar so that people want to be cops. So you're going to have like fucking crackheads being cops. You're going to have ex-felons being cops. You're going to have high school dropouts without a GED probably being cops. I'm not saying I want that to happen, and I hope that doesn't happen. I'm just saying if we keep going on the path we're going on, that's what's coming. And then we're legitimately going to have, like, the way that they say ACAB, all cops are bastards. That might be true. That might be a self-fulfilling prophecy in years to come if we keep doing this. Because, I don't watch a lot of the news anymore, but the little news I do watch, it's like they're obsessed They're obsessed with these cop stories. There's 330 million interactions in this country alone every year with police. And something stupid like 99.95% of them end with like nothing. And it's just like a cop makes a mistake here or there, and it's all over the fucking news. And usually it's also the person that the cop is reprimanding or pulling over or is with is either resisting arrest, or they're being a prick to the fucking cop, or they're being disrespectful, or they're not cooperating, they're not obeying, whatever you want, however you want to put it. And yes, you should obey a fucking cop if you get pulled over. Do what the fuck they say, and worst case, you get a ticket. Best case, you get out of the ticket. But stay in the fucking car until they tell you to get out of it. And I just don't know what's so hard about that. And I don't know where these people get the balls to be so disrespectful to the police. And I'm not saying the police are God. I was actually taught to hate the police and not trust them because they're sort of legally allowed to lie to you and stuff like that. But again, like I said, I mean, unless you're committing like a real serious crime, they're out there doing their job. They just want to get home to their family. I'm not telling my audience, who's very obviously all you 54 followers, very intelligent people. I don't have to tell you the deal, but I'm just tired of all this in the news with race and with police, and somehow they're linked. And I had a debate on my Uncommon Sense show, I guess about a month ago at this point, and I pulled up the FBI.gov statistics. That tells the story because those stats aren't cherry-picked. Those are the real fucking stats. And I welcome anyone that wants to debate. Go on the site. Let's use those as the facts and let's debate them. But the left hates facts because they like to cherry-pick these fucking stories. And the other thing they do, too, is they put nothing in fucking context. Everything's always out of context when they do these stories. And they know what they're doing. They know what the fuck they're doing. And look, and the mainstream media and the fucking... I call it the uniparty, right? The D's and the R's down in D.C., They're all in bed with big tech, and that's why Trump is still banned from Facebook. All right, and that's why people like me get shadow banned and get fucking knocks on the door. There we go, from the fucking Gestapo. It's no secret what happened about 2 months ago to the day now. At this point, I told pretty much most of my friends and stuff, and who knows what triggered it, but it had to have something to do with big tech and words I was saying, and I was trolling people I know on some sites, but I was nowhere near the Capitol on January 6th, I could tell you that. And it's just crazy. It seems like they're only going after one group of people. And what's funny about this so-called insurrection on January 6th, only one person was shot and killed, and it was a Trump supporter, an unarmed, innocent girl who served our country. And I heard that nobody else in that Capitol building was even armed, except for the Capitol Police or whatever. So this whole thing just stinks. And now we live in a country with a fucking Gestapo. It's I try to make this show lighthearted and add some humor to it, but there's no humor in this. It's sad. It's really sad. And I think this is the big part of the reason why I don't have as many people wanting to come on my shows. If you think about it, I haven't done one episode of Rubbing the Rhubarb since before this happened. Now I have people that do want to come on the show more. So, I guess they say everything evens out, right? Even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. But to be getting knocks on the door, and that's sort of my intro to the Uncommon Sense show. But I had to talk about it on What's Trending. I am going to go back to the old format where I'll find shit that's trending, and I'll find shit that's trending legitimately, and I'll give you my take on it. But for now, I kind of wanted to play catch up and just talk about things that are trending since the last time I did this show, old school. And if you notice too, the graphics are in the old school format because there's no reason to go live on this show unless I'm doing like a live happy hour or I have some guests over and we want to do it live. But yeah. Yeah. And then one of the last things I wanted to talk about today was the vCard, right? The vCard. I am choosing not to get it, but that's just me. It's a free country. You're free to do it whatever it is that you want to do. And I've had people like me, or I'm sorry, I've had people that don't even know me tell me, oh, it's people like you that don't want to get it, that fucking have to ruin it for everybody else. And bitch, bitch, calm down. It's not my fault the government's overstepping their boundaries in a tyrannical fashion right now. And I'm not even talking about DC. Look at the state and local fucking governments. Look at these governors right now with these unconstitutional executive orders. And by the way, I wanted to get into that. These executive orders are not laws. They're not laws. Now, companies can do whatever they want. They have the right to do whatever the hell they want. So let them do what they want. I respect the business. If they want me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. But in terms of this whole vCard thing, good luck with that. Good luck with HIPAA compliance. And good luck getting pretty much half the population to get on board with that. But yeah, it's completely insane. And you got to see some of the ridiculous rules just here in the great state of New Jersey from our fucking, from King Murphy, we call him, because he acts like he's a fucking king and not some sort of elected official with checks and balances. And this guy just thinks he can create laws and then get the cops to enforce them, that they're really laws. So it's sad. It's sad. And when you give these creeps, because as far as I'm concerned, anybody that acts like that is a creep. Someone that takes the power they have and just creates more power with it, you're a total fucking creep. I don't care if you're a D or an R or whatever. Doesn't matter what side you're on. And then you think you're going to have the police enforce how many people you could have over on Thanksgiving and things like that. Get the fuck out of here. Then you got Gavin Newsom telling you, yeah, you got to wear a mask at the table when you're out to eat, but you could just pull it down in between bites. In the meantime, he's got a group of 20 fucking people. No one's wearing a mask. No one's distancing. And they're just hypocrite pieces of shit. And that's me fucking getting rid of my notes. Because we're done here. But we're going to come back with more of these. This is my first show just to kind of get my feet back in the water. Really happy to be back. This is the most fun show I do out of all the shows. And it beats whacking off 8 times a day. At least it's something constructive. And I'll probably be back tomorrow. I don't see why I wouldn't. And like I said, I'm going to try to curate legitimately trending information. We'll talk about it. I'm not worried about algorithms anymore. I'm not worried about keywords anymore. I think that stuff helps, but I think the most important thing is just having good content and being consistent. So we'll catch you next time on What's Trending, and I'm gonna work on creating a nice little intro too for these podcasts. I got the goods to do it. By that, I don't mean the sexy body. I mean I got the software. Well, the bot doesn't hurt either. But we'll be back maybe tonight with the show, maybe tomorrow, but we'll see. But Juiceheads, as always, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on What's Trending. Oh, and I used to say no glove, no love, but I had a little incident in Tampa with my drone, so now I'm going to say, if you want to keep all your bones, be safe with your drones. Can't tell now, but my hand was chopped up pretty fucking bad. All right, folks. Have a good one. Take care of your bone.